Hello, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I have to do this buy or sell. Because it is about Man of Steel 2, or Superman 2, whatever the hell it's going to be called, or you want to call it. Because Warner Brothers, of course DC, they have announced this movie, that it's happening at some point, at some time. We just don't know when. We just don't know how. We just don't know really anything about it. And I'm here to say how I want this movie to look like, how I want this movie to be made. And then you guys can tell me whether you like my pitch, or whether you think it sucks, or whether you don't even want to see this movie in general. As far as directors go, I was okay with the way Zack Snyder directed some of these movies. I understand, though, the criticisms. I understand what people have against him as a director, and sometimes it's style over substance, and it's like, okay, fine. It does not seem like he's coming back for this movie. So there was rumors that George Miller might want to do this because Mad Max, he's in the Warner Brothers family, and he was supposed to do that Justice League movie years ago, so he has love for Superman. But most recently, we've heard Matthew Vaughn show some interest and actually have talks with Warner Brothers about potentially doing this movie. And that's where my head is at. I want Matthew Vaughn to do this because just his quotes on what he wants to do with this character if he would get the role, the project. He wants to bring Superman back to the light. He wants to bring Superman back to hope. He wants to get out of this darkness that Superman has been through and just make him what he really means and what he should represent as that symbol. And I think he would be the guy to make people who don't like Superman right now, think he's lame and there's nothing special to him, to make them go, wow, we were wrong. There actually is interesting aspects to this character. There actually is good things about this character. Henry Cavill as Superman. I love as Superman. I loved him in Man of Steel, and I think he kind of gets a bad rap because he didn't really get much to say and much to do in BVS. And I just feel like this guy, once he's given dialogue to do, he could make a great Superman. It's hard because, like, I almost said I liked him more than Chris Reeve Superman, but it's hard to say because Chris Reeve has done so many Superman movies at this point, and he's so synonymous with that iconic original Superman just image that we have. I think Cavill, he needs another movie to show that he could be the modern era Superman. And he should show different aspects, different personalities to the character. It's hard to say whether or not Clark Kent will be in the movie, which might sound weird, but if you think about it, they say that Clark Kent died in BVS. It's in the newspaper, and it's like, well, how can you bring back Superman from the dead and then, like, the same day have Clark Kent come back to the planet and say he's alive too? They did that kind of in Superman Returns, where they both came back 5 years later and at the same day, and nobody thought it was weird. Let's treat the audience, let's treat the people in that world to be smarter than doing that again. So we probably won't have the reporter, the mild-mannered reporter, but the Clark Kent that we can get, he can be somebody who we see outside of the costume, who goes home to Smallville on the farm and has moments with his mother, Martha, played by Diane Lane, or has moments, hopefully if he's still in a relationship with Lois Lane, and just get some good character human moments like that. Lois Lane, played by Amy Adams, I love her as Amy Adams. I loved her in Man of Steel, and just how we got past what we already remember with Lois and Clark, and how she never knows who he is because he puts glasses on and she's dumb enough to not figure it out. Or she's in love with Superman but doesn't give a crap about Clark and make her look really shallow in that way. I just like the fact that not only does she quickly figure out who he is, like before he's even anything to the world, she figures it all out. But she holds on to that secret for him, and that's how they grow close and become connected. And just their relationship, like, I like it and I buy it, and I want to see even people who didn't like that side plot, and I can understand, the bullet with her investigating it in BVS and trying to figure out where it came from. Oh, it came from Lex. And oh, why was it here? And she's investigating, she's going to this and that. And it's like, okay, sure, people might have thought it was boring, but at least they gave her something to do. At least she was proactive. At least she was a go-getter. And that's what I like and love with Lois Lane. Bring back Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White, because why not? He's great. We can't have Jimmy Olsen here, though, because they were so quick to kill him off in BVS. The way that they did, almost like a fuck you to anyone who might love the original, like how it's supposed to be at that Daily Planet. But they did that. It is what it is. I wouldn't have Supergirl in this movie either. As much as I like the character and as much as I might someday want a Supergirl in this cinematic extended universe, maybe the third movie you can bring her in. But I just feel like at this point, the TV show, the CW show, Supergirl is doing so well. And that actress is so great. And I feel like it was a slap in the face of the fans who love The Flash on TV, when they just flaunted out, hey, here's our Flash, and look at how much more of a budget it has and how much bigger and better it's going to be, right? Don't you like this Barry Allen more? It makes you think like, wow, what am I spending all my love, time, and effort and care into this show if you're just going to crap on it and pretend like it doesn't exist with the movies? I'm not saying you shouldn't have two different things going on at the same time, but I want them to stay focused. We're going to focus on Superman resurrected, coming back, and being a character. We don't want to overload it with a Supergirl character that we already get a great version of in one other medium. I would say no Lex Luthor. Or if you want Lex Luthor, recast him. And I'm actually okay with this one to recast somebody. I just don't like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. If you want to keep him as Lex, then keep Lex locked up in Arkham or something. Just keep him in prison. I don't care at this point, because Jesse Eisenberg was so over the top, so goofy, so spattery and gittery and just jumping up and down, and you just don't know what the hell he was doing. Unless you recast him and bring in Bryan Cranston, I just have no use for a Lex Luthor in this movie. But that's just me. As far as the main villain goes, I think it's fucking time. Bring in Brainiac. What are we waiting for? Why hasn't this happened? It's sad. It's pathetic that we've been having Superman movies, technically, since 1977, and we still don't have a Brainiac in a movie yet. He was supposed to be in Superman 3, but it didn't happen, so they had some weird other computer thing going on, robots and crap. It's stupid. It is. But all of these years later, we still haven't gotten Brainiac. It amazes me. It amazes me because Brainiac has been in so many other mediums. The animated series, which is where I first saw him. He's in Smallville, a bunch of that, which I like what they do with him there. The animated movie that they did, comic books, of course, and even Injustice 2, the video game. He's great. He's just great as his look, his design, what he wants and goes after. I don't know. It writes itself, having a villain that's personally connected to Superman or wants Superman for some other reason. You can't really say that he was directly responsible for the destruction of Krypton, which is what he's usually there for because of what they did in Man of Steel, but at least you can have him somewhat be connected to Krypton, just intelligence-wise or whatever the hell. He wants Superman for whatever reason. The story just writes itself. Just fill in the details for yourself, but I'm giving you the block points. I'm giving you the bullet point notes on what to do with this movie. You're welcome. We might also need a secondary villain character. You might not need it, but if we did need maybe Brainiac creating another villain to go up against Superman in the first half of the movie or so before he goes up against them, let's bring in Bizarro. Pay homage to Superman 3, Chris Reed's fighting himself in that parking garage. But we can also have Metallo, he's a villain that's just, it's easy to make him go up against Superman and have that weakness of the kryptonite. It's easy. I want to see it. I want to see this so bad. I think it can work. Let me know in the comments below. Do you like my ideas for Man of Steel 2? Do you like it, or do you think it sucks? Do you have your own ideas? Or, once again, do you just don't care about Superman? You don't want to see Superman. you just want to move on to other characters. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!